Let's talk about some of the other highlights then of your journalism career. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Chris Sutton to discuss winning the Premier League at Rovers, partnership with Alan Shearer, Celtic FC, Martin O'Neill, Henrik Larsson, and his work with Scotland Sky. Chris Sutton gets around. What was he like to chat to?
Do you know the way you see him on screen with Sky and BT in years gone by is the way I find him when you speak to him. You know, he's always got that glint in his eye that he's thinking of a one-liner or something witty to say, but at the same time, you know, remarkably honest. You know, he'll talk about his career, and one of the things that he's always said on record, not just to myself, but numerous people over the years, is that Martin O'Neill really did rescue his career in many ways, because as he would admit himself at Chelsea, for love nor money, he just could not get a run of goals going. He just didn't have a good time on the pitch. He wasn't particularly enjoying things off the pitch. The fans were on his back for obvious reasons. He was a big money signing, didn't work out. And he always says, Martin O'Neill rescued my career, and so much so that obviously he had his great time at Celtic with Martin, and Martin then phoned him when he was at Aston Villa and said, look, Chris, I'm desperate. I've got an injury crisis. Will you come and sign for me? And Chris said, oh, I was thinking about retiring. And Martin said, I'm desperate. And Chris went and joined him at Aston Villa. So, you know, a remarkable character, someone that was an incredible player for Celtic, but also someone that I enjoy listening to as a pundit. I know people sometimes say, oh, he's a bit pantomime, and the way him and Chris Boyd and Sky go back and forth. But I think when you look at Sky Sports down south in England with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, that's commonplace, I think, throughout media at the moment, whether you like it or you don't. And I think Chris Sutton does a very good job as a pundit in Scotland, and I certainly do enjoy listening to him.
Yeah, plus if you're on screen with Chris Boyd, it's hard not to, you know, have a bit of a laugh at his expense.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those where, with the results and the way things are going at the moment, you know, I think it's one of those, if the shoe was on the other foot and Celtic were going through a bad time, you know, Chris Boyd would be doing the same back to Sutton. But as it happens, it looks as if Chris Sutton's going to have the last laugh for a number of years ahead, potentially.
You should know your place. I shut up in your face.